All right, we are back for Game 3 of Chase for looks like March 8th at Fantasy Flight. This one we've got him facing Daniel. Daniel, I think, is a newer face to our scene, and he is playing the fast Warmaster healer of Strangerush. So let's take a look, see how it goes.
All right, let's jump right in. We see them high rolling for who's going to go first here. 4 for Daniel, 11 for Chase. Chase on turn 1 this time.
And early on we had discussed that we thought he was sitting at 6 chains, but he's actually at 3.
Looks like he's at 3 chains.
Yeah.
Functionally negligible in this setting, especially as he continues to drop chains on his mulligans. And seeing in Daniel's deck here, another relevant Maverick. As we saw in yours with that sneaky, unexpected reverse time in Mars, seeing a Ganger Chieftain in his logos, and with some large creatures in his Sanctum, as well as in the logos itself with 2 Titan mechanics and a Mother. You may see some unexpected plays from Daniel here.
The one thing to watch out in his deck, though, is he does have that double Virtuous Works. And if he gets both those at the same time and pumps that Amber too high, that bait and switch is going to come in handy.
Yeah, and what we see from Daniel is a lot of Amber generation. We see 2 Virtuous Works, we see 2 Cleansing Waves, we see a Dust Pixie, a Hunting Witch, and quite a lot of raw Amber coming out of his logo set with a Scrambler Storm, 2 Positrons, a Neurosiphon, and a Lab Work. However, we're seeing very little Amber interaction, and as we know, Chase is running a deck that is almost entirely Amber interaction, and if Daniel is not able to control the board, he'll find that he's not able to do anything with all of that Amber that he generates. We'll see 1 Doorstep to Heaven, certainly a relevant card and one that we know Chase has already noticed coming out of Daniel's Archon card, something that he'll be looking out for, trying not to go too high on any given turn. And we also see 2 Murmooks, an interesting combo with the Doorstep to Heaven, as we could see the Murmooks force Chase to generate more Amber than you would like to be punished a little bit more severely by that Doorstep when it does come down.
And Jace just opens up with a Banner of Battle. That's nice to see. Jeez.
One that we never saw in that
last
40-minute game with Gates. He, in fact, didn't even make it through his deck somehow. Never any downside to playing that Banner of Battle. As soon as that thing's in your hand, you want to get it on the table as quickly as possible. One of the most impactful passive effects in the game. Your creatures gain 1 power.
So is he just going to burst it up here real quick?
Yeah, and as called, the 2 Murmooks are there, and the 2 Ghostly Hands come out for a quick 4 Amber. We have not seen a lot of burst Amber generation from Chase, as we see him preferring to build the board, reap with the Brabnar creatures, and force a response from his opponent. This time choosing, despite having the Banner of Battle on the table already, to play 2 cards, gain 4 Amber, and give up the board. And Daniel will respond in kind, saying, I don't need to play any cards either. I'll just take a quick 3. And that Dew Fairy really going to challenge Chase to respond to the board now. That will get out of hand very quickly.
Yeah, if Chase doesn't start doing something, get some direct damage out, get some creatures built. There you go.
And the Relentless Whisper is the cleanest answer that there is. Gain 2 of your own, take 1 away from your opponent, and sure, turn off that generator.
And unfortunately, since Chase doesn't have a board going and he's sitting at 6 Amber, he's still not at check because those 2 Murmooks. So, putting pressure on early.
And forcing him into Shadows with that Relentless Whispers. Shadows not a house that has a lot of creatures for Chase. not able to fight back against the board, despite removing the Dew Fairy. The random access archives. He's going to gain one. This is an unusual card. He's going to name a house, reveal the top card of his deck. If it's of that house, he will archive the card. If it's not of that house, he'll discard it.
Random access just actually
Is that
archives the
just
top.
archive it?
It just
I'm
archives the
thinking
top.
of the artifact, aren't I?
Yeah, you're thinking of
So he'll
the
just archive one.
Chaos Portal, I believe.
The Chaos Portal. Yep. So he'll just archive a random card off the top.
That's an unfortunate library access turn. You only got 3 cards out of it, something along those lines.
Yeah, not drawing into any additional Logos cards to keep that turn going. That library access functionally meaningless, as he would have replaced those Logos cards with the top cards of his deck anyway. And stepping into Sanctum here, he'll get his potion down on the table. First time we've seen him play that card. Using that honorable claim to push himself up to 8.
Yeah, so that'll put him at check.
We'll see. Daniel not able to get through many cards so far. He's quickly asking to see that response from the doorstep of heaven. We may see that he's able to simply forge for 8 to get through this deck if Daniel's not able to find that one Amber control card. Protectrix out there, benefiting from the Banner of Battle. That's a 6 power creature, able to effectively fight against anything on Daniel's board.
Yeah, and then also, I mean, at this point, you could use that potion. It'd be a little bit of a waste, but doesn't deal any damage to your Protectrix to get rid of some of those.
Of course, and the skirmish on that Snufflegator,
Yep.
quite relevant here. And I think he's going to trade in that Murmook. Oh, that was an inspiration to use that. Will he have a way to destroy that Protectrix, or will he allow it to heal himself? And a Virtuous Works. Trying to keep pace with Chase, saying, you can forge for 8, well, I'll forge for 6. We'll see who wins this race.
Yeah.
Of course, Chase with much more Amber interaction. We'll see if he's able to deny this key.
There we go. We're gonna have probably a Shadow's turn. It looks like from Chase. Gonna oubliette one of those Murmooks, guarantee.
With multiple Shadows cards in his hand, but not seeing anything there that looks as though it can deny this first key for Daniel.
I don't think so. Sometimes you just have to let the first key or even the second key just slide by.
We see him thinking about Sanctum. Do I want to play this Raiding Knight? You called it. He'll stick with the Shadows. He'll get the Murmook out of there. He'll build his board a little bit. Use the Silvertooth to set up the Relentless Whispers, so he will in fact be able to get the steal, deny the key.
Well, it looks like he might still be sitting at 6 over there.
Oh, is he on 6 as well? I think you're right.
Yeah, there it is.
You called it. He'll forge for 6.
Still melted a little bit, so he didn't have the extra.
And cute keys from Daniel there. Those look like poker chips.
I was going to say.
Getting some value from the Grasping Vines, especially to hit 2 artifacts of different houses. And then really taking advantage of the skirmish to cleanly take care of that Moon Cursor. A 1-power creature that can be difficult to get out of the way every once in a while.
Well, that's because it's got that elusive and skirmish. It's just one of those things where you either have to go after it twice and, lose the creature in the process, or...
He be the Huge.
Takes care of
Clearing up
that.
the Hunting Witch.
Yeah. Oh, dice again.
There they are.
I'm so glad the dice are illegal.
The Grenade Snip coming down. Gonna use that right away. An opportunity to trade with the the Snufflegator, I suppose. Kindred, of course, skirmish and elusive, 3-power creature. Reap, deal 2 damage. And Smash is gonna deny that Reap ability right away. And as he builds that board, he's gonna generate the creatures that he needs to take care of for later on. And again, we see that big Bravnar turn, destroying the creatures, stunning the creatures on the opponent's side, taking control of the board. And we wonder, will Daniel be able to take control back in the way that Gates was able to? Knowing what we do about his deck, he's going to need to lean heavily into his logos to make that happen. Going to have to find those Positron bolts. Doesn't look like he's holding any of them. I see him packing some Sanctum. He's holding that Doorstep, but it's a little bit too late.
But he does have a Nimquid in there. A Nimquid the Fair.
Who can take down one of those?
Or you could just wait for the board to build a little bit more and then take full advantage. It's hard to say.
It's hard to say. And does he have a sense of how Chase wants to play this?
That's true.
We know that he wants to have 6 to 7 creatures on the board while constantly killing off your own guys. He could find himself in a position where he'll really be able to take advantage of that board state, clear off a lot of guys quickly before building his own Sanctum. But it seems like that's not going to be his approach. He's going to play Numquid here to take care of just one creature. I think he's choosing which one it's going to be. And now he's protected Kindred with that taunt. So his choice here is going to be slightly less relevant. He can take that Amber back from the Protectrix, deny that powerful Reap effect as well.
Yeah, that's the one I would have gone for sure, because that way, the Reap fully heal and then no longer dealing damage can get nasty, especially if you get his Frankus out on the board.
Yep, can really open the door to see Frankus do quite a bit of damage, capture quite a bit of Amber as well. Now, is that a Vault Keeper that we saw come down, or is that a Gatekeeper?
I think it's a Gatekeeper. That's actually what I was trying to figure out.
So the Gatekeeper says if your opponent has 5 or more, capture, or 7 or more, capture all but 5 of it. Chase, of course, with 3. That play effect on the Vault Keeper, or on the Gatekeeper, not going to trigger. A Vault Keeper would, of course, be very impactful against this deck, using the bait and switch, the Relentless Whispers.
Yeah, Vault Keeper is one of those cards I wish I saw more in my decks, because I would love to have something to stop people from stealing.
Yeah. Yeah, over the first few months of this game, I think that we've all kind of had our suspicions confirmed, and we've learned that stealing, while we thought it appeared strong, is in fact very, very strong.
Massively strong. Well, what was it? A couple weeks back when Chainmount started getting up and running, there was something along the lines of 14 decks that had power level 2, and I think like 12 of them had shadows in it. So.
Yep. Yeah, and as we see these games go on, we see that Shadows has been critical to your ability to interact with your opponent's Amber supply, keep them from forging keys. And here we see Chase going right back to 6 Amber and forcing those responses out of Daniel again to say, can you stop me from forging? We've seen both of them removes. There's a Neurosiphon in there, and there's a Doorstep to Heaven. Chase trying to do some math with that Banner of Battle, but in the end we're going to see that Anaphael is still big enough to clear off that Smash, and with that armor, he'll survive. Get a little bit of value from that Cleansing Wave. And another Virtuous Works. Inviting that bait and switch.
Did he end up grabbing that the amber from the cleansing wave?
He did.
Okay.
He got the amber from the cleansing wave, as well as the virtuous works for 3, and reaping twice with the numquid, and then again with the gatekeeper. And Chase, playing everybody's favorite game, go exactly to 6, forge for 6, and then hit him with the big bait and switch. Ooh, but he's actually gonna try to take Daniel down to 5, deny the key in the more conventional way this turn. See, and he takes him exactly to 5. No opportunity to go to 6 himself on this turn, opting as he did to use his heat beat to trade rather than to reap. He could have gave himself an opportunity there to forge, to have a big bait and switch response
That's true.
to what's likely to be a large amber pool coming back from Daniel.
And he does have that bait and switch in hand, so.
And Daniel, despite playing an untamed deck with some amount of amber generation, no key cheating, worth noting. So Chase, of course, having looked at that Archon card, see in the untamed pile that there's no Chota Hazri, there's no key charge. He's not going to worry about Daniel sitting at 5 because he knows the only way he's going to forge is during his forge key step, and he'll always have an opportunity to respond.
And that's exactly what Chase wants to see with this deck, because the way he manipulates the amber on a regular basis, key cheating could be difficult for him. Could run into problems with it.
But Daniel intelligently finding a way to get to 6 here. While he's going to begin cleaning up the board, he'll just take the armor off of that raiding knight. Of course, with Protect the Weak, he's up to 3 armor, taking no damage.
That is a shoulder armor.
A shoulder armor, even more.
That's why he's got it all the way at the edge of the board. That's a trick I like to do as
Oh,
well.
sure.
That
So
way.
you don't turn it off by mistake.
Don't turn it off just by playing quick.
And going to 7, while Chase sits at 6, that bait and switch, functionally a dead card for this turn. The grenade snib comes out, but he won't be able to get the job done this turn.
I don't think so.
And Chase is going to give up a second key as he finds himself somehow without his tools to stop the amber generation. And Daniel, playing as he does 2 virtuous works and the double cleansing wave,
Oh, here we go.
Maybe has more amber generation than Chase really has answers for.
There it is. There's the answer.
And what was that?
The unguarded camp.
The unguarded camp to take him just to 5.
Yep. So he was able to capture 2.
And going to 6 himself, setting up that bait and switch for the next turn. The unguarded camp, just when you think you're safe from this deck. You've dealt with all the bumpsies and the raiding knights. You've dealt with both of the relentless whispers. And you've denied the bait and switch. There's still one more tool, one more trick that he's got up his sleeve.
Yep. So Numkud died, so they decided, there should be an additional 1 out to capture. And see now with the unguarded camp, I'll tell you, he's got his amber, he's got Daniel's amber spread amongst multiple creatures. So now you're saying, hey, you have to deal with this board to get your amber
opting
back.
To put it on the Staunch Knight rather than on Grenade Snip here, one of my favorite plays, to capture their amber onto the grenades. How do you play around a Grenade Snip? Of course, you destroy it when you have no amber. Well, if destroying it is going to give you 2 amber, that Grenade Snip will always get its full value. But chasing, I think that you're always going to have some amber to take away from this guy. I don't think you're going to be able to get through this raiding knight out on the edge.
Well, raiding knight with shoulder armor, I mean that makes it one beefy
That's one beefy guy.
Yeah, to
That's
say.
6 power, 4 armor. He's not doing much, but he sure is big. And he forges that key.
And so now we're sitting here. It's 2 keys to 1. Chase has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of his amber, of Daniel's amber, just sitting on the board.
And continuing to build the board here. An opportunity, maybe to kill. And he'll use that snib to take out the long shot.
And have him lose to amber.
And he gets the value there. Leaving himself at 0 amber. A great way to be. 2 keys up on 1. A huge board, and no amber for your opponent to mess with. We of course know that there's no amber manipulation in Daniel's deck anyway. And Chase may have been safe to just reap with that Raiding Knight, rather than invest himself in taking out that Kindra.
Well, he did. I thought he reaped with that Raiding Knight.
He used the Raiding Knight to take the elusive the
Take the
Kindra, so that
elusive.
he could run
Gotcha.
the snib into it. Yep. And of course,
Here
the
we go.
snib getting the bonus from the Banner of Battle to trade cleanly with that Kindra.
Let's see. And Daniel just pulled his archives, so let's see what he's got going on here.
Now, I believe that archive was just off of his random access archives, so unlikely to be a big blowout of a turn. But here
There you
comes
go.
that Ganger Chieftain Maverick. Chase, a big fan of the Ganger Chieftain himself, immediately covetous. And he'll bring 6, 7 damage from that Ancient Bear to take out the Raiding Knight. More Positron Bolts, more Amber generation. But at this point it seems to be too little too late. That Banner of Battle keeping these guys alive much longer than expected. He's exhausted. His
Well, so now we've
a
got,
Scrambler Storm.
but we've got some cheap keys out there, man. Keys are now cost 4 with those 2 Titan mechanics on the flanks.
Of course, putting Daniel into check and turning off Chase's opportunity to play actions this turn with that Scrambler Storm. Saying if you want to deny this key, you have to trade with this 6 power Titan mechanic. And of course, that Banner of Battle giving Chase excellent ways to do that very cleanly. And Daniel now through his deck, he'll draw a couple more cards. 1 more card. And now if you're Chase, you're wondering, are those Mamooks going to come back down? Or is that doorstep going to come back down? Those things that you've been able to play through, the limited Amber interaction that Daniel has that you've been able to get through, it's all now back in the field. The Frank is to fight. Going to be using that capture ability again. And rather than kill the Titan mechanics, he says, I'd just as soon let those guys stick around and maybe I can get some value off of them.
Yeah, keep those keys
I'll keep you
cheap.
down at 3. So even despite reducing the cost of keys to only 4, Chase still able to keep that Amber low enough that Daniel's not able to forge a key. And worth noting that he has been holding this bait and switch in his hand, a functional chain, for almost the entire game. He pulled that in his 3rd turn.
Yeah, see, and that brings up the whole discussion about how long do you hold on to certain cards. It's do you chew up that hand slot, or do you play it when maybe it's not as optimal?
And when you have a handle on the game, such as this one where Chase has clearly been in the driver's seat from just about from the word go, I think it's hard to look at that choice and tell him that it was wrong.
Well, that's very true. Let's see.
We'll finally get that Frankus out of there. Bringing 7 damage. Frankus, of course, with the 1 damage left over from the Positron.
Hey, that's.
He'll exhaust all of those creatures, and here's his opportunity. He's evaluating this Dust Pixie in his hand, thinking about turning off the Titan mechanic versus throwing down the Dust Pixie, knowing that there's a bait and switch in play. He says, I'm going to go greedy, and he's going to be punished for it.
Oh, definitely. I say, if there was ever a bait and switch opportunity, now's the time. And shuffle from the back to the front.
And there it is.
So.
And from 8 to...
It was 7.
7 to 5 to 3. Chase takes 4 of them away. That Key of Darkness that has been discarded now. Each time it's made the hand.
That's one of those key cheats that's very difficult to pull off.
Yeah, inviting you to have 12 amber in order to use it. Extremely situational. Situations in which it's useful being extremely rare.
Let's get rid of that moon cursor for sure.
Yeah, any of that recursive steel, anything that's going to give you an opportunity to interact with your opponent's amber turn after turn. And a little bit of a mistake with that Neurosiphon as he missed the opportunity to get the steel off of it. Playing the Positron Bolt first, the way that he did.
Well, I see a Terms of Redress. What else we got going on in Chase's hand? It's definitely a Sanctum turn.
And Chase sticking to his guns here, knowing that this is an amber-controlled deck. And as much as he may feel that he's able to get to 6 amber and threaten to end the game against a deck that is unlikely to be able to deny it, he's thinking, how am I going to deny his second key? That feels more important to him than his ability to build his own third key.
I think he's going to be doing both at the same time here.
Sure, as that potion hits the deck, giving him 1. That Terms of Redress, lifting him up to 6. But will it be enough to keep Daniel off of his key?
So it looks like Daniel's sitting at 7 over there. So.
Right, you are. And is now at this point turned off both of his own Titan mechanics with that Dust Pixie and with that Mother. Chase evaluating the board state, knowing that he can't use that Staunch Knight fight. He'll need to use that simply to reap, and with the inspiration in his hand, he can do that twice, protecting himself from those Marmooks that may come down to keep him back for 1 more turn.
Now what he could do here is he could get that Dust Pixie out of the way, turn keys on to 5. Or take
he's
out
going to
Mother.
take out the Mother, dropping keys to 5, and essentially giving up a key to Daniel. As
True.
Daniel, 5 amber in his pool. And an interesting choice there.
Now, I
With
mean,
the inspiration in hand. And Daniel, of course, right on cue, drawing right on to the doorstep to heaven, and there it is.
But see, and here's the situation: is that
with
now
the
we're
Titan mechanic. Who
still
cares?
sitting at 5 for keys.
Sure.
So.
But who gets to decide to turn it off? We'll get a Sanctum creature right down on the flank.
Yep.
And keys are going to be costing 6 again. And Daniel quickly generating amber once again. Thumbing through his cards. And we've seen a very different playstyle from Chase in this game, as the Bravnar has been much less impactful in this round than it was earlier in the game. Earlier, we saw it really taken over the board for him in a big way. And in this game, we've seen the Sanctum doing the lion's share of the work. We've seen a big bait and switch to really take the game away.
Well, it seems like must have been that all of his Brobnar creatures were at the bottom of the deck. Because here they all come.
Yeah, one,
So,
2, 3. And again, reshuffling his deck much, much later than his opponent. Uh, happy to hold on to that bait and switch. Happy to hold on to that inspiration for a long time. And that gatekeeper going to drop Chase to 5. And Daniel is still alive. Don't look now.
Oh, did he have 6?
He must have had 6 exactly, huh?
I thought he had 7 there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He sure did. Yep, and Daniel not going to let him get away with that shit.
Rightfully so. So it should be 2 gets captured.
And Daniel with that virtuous works, able to get himself to 5, but not quite to threaten, allowing Chase once again to be setting the pace for this game, to decide whether or not he's going to threaten.
Well, and right now, I mean, Chase, all he has to do is he can just reap for 5 with his Brobnar.
Yep, knowing that the doorstep has already been used. He's thinking really carefully about this. And we know that he's a player that loves to interact with his opponent's Amber. He wants to figure out how he can limit Daniel's Amber. And he may be missing what's right in front of his face here, knowing that he has an opportunity to go to 10 against someone who has only 5.
I mean, and even if both Murmooks come out, that only puts you at 8 for key cost. So
a few different ways to play this, and as long as he doesn't accidentally kill that Death Pixie, he's going to be fine. And that should put it away.
There it is. That puts it away.
Daniel extends the hand, and that's 3-0.
3-0 so far.
In round 4, watching Chase look for the opportunity to go undefeated in this event.
We'll see what happens then. Catch you on the next one.